Welcome to Apex Esports League. I'm JT. Tonight we're live on iRacing for round 3 of the Pagnian Imports Ferrari 488 Championship. Tonight's round we're at Sebring International Raceway. There's going to be some great racing in the Ferrari 488s around Sebring. So the round tonight we have 10 minutes of practice, weather is clear, then we've got 10 minutes of qualifying and then a 40-minute race. Weather should be expected to remain clear. It is an ongoing weather variation and 20s may slightly vary. Fuel is capped at 47%, so drivers will need to head in for a pit stop. After the second round, we have Sebastian Vandel having a great lead on the championship. He's leading in with 310 points, with Jai Schultz behind in position 2 with 246, and Blake Urquhart not too far away in position 3 with 230 points. And last week we were at WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca, and Sebastian Vandel takes his second consecutive clean sweep, taking another pole victory and fastest lap bonus points, which is why he's got such a good, strong lead. So can he replicate that tonight and have a good streak running? So we'll jump over onto the track now. The driver's currently in the practice session. So just over 5.5 minutes remaining of the practice. And it's good to be back streaming live with some technical issues last week, having to actually just record the race and later upload it the following days, as we had some severe storms in the area with actual network outages due to power outages and the likes. So it's good to have all that resolved and be back live, which we managed to do just in time for Thursday night with our Project Cars 2 series. And Sebastian Vandel currently we're focused on is our championship leader. And Jai Schultz following very close behind in the championship. Don't forget, if you're just joining us for the stream, do jump into the chat, say hello, let us know who you're here to cheer on. You can also use those sound effects controls down underneath the stream, so that way you can applaud, cheer and lots of other fun sound effects, so that way you can support your favourite drivers. Should see some very quick times being set tonight. Did get to jump on and do some laps after a fair amount of non-seat time. And so only had Jai and Damien in the session. They're both getting some very quick times. Damien currently in the pits. Only just joining us, haven't hit the follow button. Be sure to hit that follow button. We do appreciate the growing support for the league. And there's plenty of racing action with us going live for iRacing on Monday night, 7:30 PM Australian Eastern Daylight Time, as well as Thursday nights with Project Cars 2. There's lots of GT4 racing action at the moment. So we'll be going live this Thursday night with round 3 of the Pagnian Imports GT4 Championship. First time starting to come through in the practice. It's quite a lengthy track. It's not going to be too much for an opportunity for qualifying, with only 10 minutes to be able to get in your qualifying lap. And there are championship points on the line. There's 25 points up for grabs for a pole position. Manchesterio setting a 2:06 for his first time lap. Jai's just come through with a 2:01.271. And Hardigan setting a 2:05. Try and make sure we cover everyone as well. Troy Mortensen gets in a 2:07. Alex just parked that car up. And there's Philip Buckland. He's parked up. There's the Russell Gander currently in the pits as well. I think he did just pull out of the pits. Just brought the car back in. Oh, a bit of a spin. I'm not sure if that was a little bit of contact that may have actually occurred. Put that into a spin. Almost looked like a little bit of netcode going on. Russell Gander out on the track. And I do spy the Apex eSports League logo on the side of their car. Guys were asking for the logo just early today, so they've gone in and thrown it onto their team livery. So it's a full throttle racing the guys have set up. So much appreciated to the guys for throwing the logo on. Blake Urquhart is the quickest so far, a 2-minute .2. A little bit of contact around turn 1. That's Jai. And in for a spin. I think he may have made some contact against that wall. First and last corners incredibly tricky on this track. And there's the practice session finish. So now over into qualifying. And we'll jump on board for a lap around Sebring. Sebastian Vandel scoots out on track very quickly. First one to exit the pits. Looks like in tow by Jai Schultz. Possibly missing on the list. So here, drivers to load in. We've got Aaron Maguire, Damien Cross and Robbie Bradbury still to load through. 3 of the MSRs in a row there. And Robbie Bradbury, the Century Motorsports KFC car. Giving Jai a flash of the lights. And the guys having a good run in the series. Slingshots out around. Jump on board with our championship leader for a lap around. Straight. Very tricky to get this first turn in. You want to get as close to that apex as you can where the witch's hat is actually hanging out. And second gear, these next couple of corners. Wants the curb very loose. Be careful getting on the throttle here. Putting it right out into that dirt. Very risky. He's going to have a nice slipstream advantage here. I do believe that's Jai just up ahead. And in first gear, LIV in. Cut a lot of curb around that sector. And down across across the middle of the track. Be very slippery and cold tyres, so very cautious on that throttle. Stay very wide and can take a heap of curb. A little bit rough though in these Ferraris. And flat stick coming up to this section and then down to the chicanes. Curb to curb, really turning in, and then into the Le Mans corner. Nice and wide, lots of curb straight out onto that exit curb. And very tricky for the final corner. It can be very off-putting. It's a very long, sweeping right-hand turn. And he's going to be very hard to see the braking markers. He's overshot it just a little bit, but he's going to be able to pull that back in, flat foot, power straight through into third gear, right out to that wall. Beautiful line. And that's a 1:59.6. That's a spectacular lap by Sebastian. Blake Urquhart setting a 2-minute. And then he spins out after that lap. That was a lot of speed for that lap. I was hoping to see a 1:59. I thought he could definitely have it in him, so it was great to be on board for a 1:59 around Sebring. So Blake Urquhart currently qualifying in second. He's done a 2-minute. That's 2:330. Jai Schultz setting a 2:07. And then Stephen Banks in with a 2:03. Making cautious approach around that corner. With it being about a 2-minute lap, getting out to get these qualifying times done in the 10 minutes, a little bit more difficult. There's not any opportunity for mistake to be able to come back in. Matt Tessero currently qualifying 5th, setting a 2:04.6. And then have Troy Mortensen in the 2:05.5s. And Philip Buckland a 2:06. Russell Gander qualifying at 2:13.3. Damien Cross seems to be disconnected at the moment. It was loaded up in the practice session. There he is, he's in now. So he hasn't got a time on the board. He's only going to have enough time probably to get one qualifying lap in. So we've currently got 12 drivers loaded up. Should be a good little tight race of 12 around Sebring. Sebastian still holds that pole position. He did have the spin in turn 2 after that very quick lap. Pretty sure it was him actually is bringing the car in to get back out there. Setting a first time lap at 1:59 is pretty spectacular. It's at 7/10 away from Blake Urquhart. Damien Cross debuting with us last week. having a great outcome. We're still getting a good result in the race for his first race with us, so well done to Damien. So he qualified 8th and then took 6th position, and he's only brand new to iRacing. And he's going to be putting down some very quick times. Was on track with himself and Jai yesterday, and then there was some very quick laps being done. It's Matt Hardigan to get a time on the board. There's a minute 10 left. Robbie Bradbury moves up into 4th position, qualifying with a 2:01.8. Brings that car in. That's going to be it for his qualifying session, with only 40 seconds remaining. None of the drivers able to get into that 1:59 bracket. And Sebastian also not improving on that time. May very well have been a lap of the gods, that one. That was flat chat, and he may have even been just a little bit held up. Whilst he was in tow with Jai, he's a little bit put offline from that last corner. So all drivers qualifying now, waiting on Damon Cross to get a time in. So the session is finished, so it'll be last laps now. I'm pretty sure this should be the first timed lap for Damien. Hopefully it should be enough time for him to get across. They were pretty quick at jumping in between the practice and the qualifying, so there may be a little bit more time to spare before the session actually jumps over into the race. This could be on par for about a 2:03. It's a 2:03.377. There we have results. Not sure. That's just actually reset. Didn't get to it just in time. I have to get to that result screen before it actually loads over. That's Sebastian Vandel takes pole position. The drivers have got a minute 30 to hit that ready button. As they'll be seeing themselves starting from pit lane. 3 drivers to go. And then we'll start to see the lights get ready to go green for round 3. So we've already reached the halfway point in the championship. A very strong round here tonight by Sebastian. Can definitely have a very good, strong lead going into the final round. One driver remaining to ready up. We have Jai and Sebastian leading up front. drivers hit ready, so we're about to see the lights go green for round 3. And it's green flag wave, so we're away and going for the start of round 3. Sebastian gets off to a very good start. Bit of weaving going on. He moves over to defend that line very quickly. However, Jai Schultz looking to go for a move up the inside. Looks like a pretty good getaway for the start of the race. We got Jai starting to try and close that gap in between himself and Blake. But Blake starting to put some pressure onto Sebastian. This is how close he is. A little bit of cheekiness there, you can see on the back of Sebastian's car. Did notice after last week's round, Blake, his slow was on the back of his car. So a bit of jostling between himself and teammates in Midland Sim Racing. Expecting Blake to see the back of his car for the race. You can see a flash of the lights from Blake. Putting some pressure on Sebastian. He's carrying a lot of speed, but Sebastian moves over to block that line. Slightly wide. That's going to lose a lot of speed. Oh, it sounds like there's some contact. Not sure whether there's any contact going on. I don't think so. I've just been the cars bouncing along that track and bottoming out, but they did hear a hefty crunch. It looks to be pretty good. Sebastian's starting to pull away now. A little bit of spacing going down through the back. Jai dropping off. The opening lap was a 206.7 for Sebastian. Blake a 207.3. Then we have Jai in the 2.8s, followed by Stephen in 2.09s. So a very quick opening lap. We have Russell Gander starting to close down in on Philip Buckland. I think Matt Tesserio may have actually gone off track from my log data. Troy Mortensen behind. We'll bring up some info, might help. Sebastian still leading the way. Blake closing back in down that back straight. Slipstream having big advantage. Two very different lines again. He's going to have to play defensive here. Blake's going to have a very good run on. The two are pulling away. And he's over onto that racing line. Onto the brakes down into the corner now. Very tidy line. Flat stick in fourth through turn 1. At lap a 2:01. It's definitely got some big pace. Blake setting a 1:59.8. That is race pace with some heavier fuel loads than what he would have been running in the qualifying. So that slipstream really proving to be holding off to be able to get a good run on him down along that back straight. as well as coming down onto pit straight as well. The two definitely starting to pull away from the rest of the pack. Jai currently 3 seconds away from Blake. He's got a couple of seconds on Stephen Banks. He's also now got Robbie Bradbury sitting close to his tail. He's about a second quicker than Steve in the last lap. They got a couple of seconds behind them with Aaron Maguire. Here's where we have Blake really close in. So down onto the bumper. Very interesting line. It turns in a little bit earlier. He didn't get as much slipstream in closing in on that straight as he did the lap before. Blake definitely trying to hold on. He's only a few tenths slower than Sebastian that lap. So the fastest lap of the race would be the 1:59. Still, oh, Matt Hardigan's just had a spin. I don't think he's taken any damage. They've just dropped the tyre off. Gone in for a spin. Damon Cross has had to head into the pits. So pitting in early. I'm sure that's a strategy to be able to last out. We have noticed that they'll usually be able to last out around the 30 minutes quite easily. Unless he's taken damage. I can't see that he has gone off track. It doesn't mean he may not have made contact with someone. Have a look and see if his car's looking okay. Appears to be in fine form. It could be a strategic move. Yeah, race leaders really flying ahead now. It's 8.7 second gap from Jai in position 3 now. These two are flying ahead. Oh, Blake's going to go for a move. It's not who I was looking for. Position himself nicely for an inside pass. It's going to be too quick to be able to try and take a spot there. Narrowly misses that wall. Very tight line. Getting every bit of speed he can. Robbie Bradbury has gotten past Stephen Banks. Stephen Banks still hanging on. And they're starting to come down in on Jai Schultz. It's the last lap of 2:05. Robbie's had a 2:02.8. Sebastian pulling away very quickly out of that section. And they have quickly closed that gap down in on Jai. Giant look at going for a defensive line to try and hold these guys off. Really give it up once they do close that gap in. So our race leaders holding their qualifying positions at this stage. Sebastian taking the pole. Blake qualified in second, and it was Dry qualifying in third. Stephen Banks starting the drop away from Robbie. Sebastian now really pulling away from Blake. He had just slightly dropped off track as well. Had an alert coming through there was an off track, so obviously cutting a little bit of corners. Matt Hardigan just been in for a tow. Not sure if that was contact with anyone else, I don't believe so. So make our way through the list now. So currently Matt Hardigan is being towed into pits. Damien Cross has already been in and pitted. It's a 20.6 second pit stop. So definitely throwing some fuel into the car. So he did pit on lap 3. He's currently on lap 4. So he's a lap down. Matt Sarah in 10th position. Philip Buckland in 9th position. He's got about an 8-second gap between himself and Matt. Russell Gander in 8th position, quickly closing down in on Troy Mortensen. He's about 3 seconds quicker at this stage. He's probably going to be probing to look for a spot to get around over the course of the next lap. Troy in 7th. Aaron Maguire in 6th position. 5 seconds ahead of him is Stephen Banks, currently in 5th. He's still hanging on to that gap between himself and Robbie. Robbie trying to close in to Jai, but struggling to do so. He was showing a little bit more pace, but Jai started to pick that up a bit more now. And Jai still holding third. Blake Urquhart teetering around that 2-second gap between himself and Sebastian. Those first 4 laps basically on the tail of Sebastian the whole way. And Sebastian managing to pull away a little bit more. If you're just joining us for the stream, don't be shy, jump in the chat, hit that follow button. Got plenty of racing action with Apex Esports League. If you want to get involved in any of our races, more than happy for you to get involved. You can see our social media links. If you are on iRacing, there is a link to it from our Facebook page and our group as well, which links off from that. That's where we put up all our event details. Otherwise, you can just search for Apex Esports League in iRacing, you will find us. We're going to have a jam-packed year of great racing. With the Skip Barber Cup commencing us off for our opening series in 2022. And there's a spectacular prize up for grabs with that one as well, courtesy of the series sponsor Logitech G. So a fantastic Pro X wireless gaming headset. for the winner of that championship. And of course our league partners, Pagnian Advanced Simulation and Next Level Racing. So you can get all your sim and flight racing, sim racing and flight simulating needs from pagnianimports.com.au. Lots of next level racing gear, great services and prices to go with it as well. Mahadigan back out on track after that tow. She's currently a lap down in 12th position. And Russell Ganner did get the pass on Troy Mortensen. At 1.1 seconds quicker on the previous lap. A little bit of a gap between Troy and Phillip. And Stephen Banks starting to drop back away from Robbie Bradbury. Robbie was trying to close that gap in on Jai, but Jai's managing to hold him off at bay. He's currently 12.2 away from the race lead. Blake still teetering around the 2-second gap between himself and Sebastian. We are nearing the halfway point, so another couple of laps and we will have crossed the halfway. We could expect these guys to be heading into the pits. We have seen some fuel conservation trying to get the cars through without having to fuel up with the opening round. Managing to see some drivers actually manage to do it. They did have a safety car, and then some lap traffic managing to be able to actually tuck in and conserve that fuel until those last couple of laps. However, Blake and Sebastian for these 8 laps so far have been pretty flat stick. They've been setting consistent 2-minute lap times. I mean, even seeing Blake set a 1:59. I think that was only on lap 2. So these guys really working each other. And they're going to be using quite a bit of fuel to be really putting down basically qualifying times consistently for these opening 8 laps. And Sebastian has led for the entirety of this race. I can hear a car in the pits at the moment. Not sure who's actually in the pits. Make our way through the list. Can't see anything on my log. We're starting to see a fair bit of spacing going on. Probably still not able to close that gap in on Jai. Did start to rein it in pretty good. Jai's managing to pull away pretty quickly again. He may have been dropping off, potentially conserving that fuel. It's quite a great shot from that curve side. Sebastian flying ahead. Like getting a lot of curb. A little bit slippery coming out of that corner. A bit too much curb and a little bit too early on that throttle. He was starting to close that gap in. He was getting about 2 tenths over the course of that lap. And he's close enough now to be able to get a little bit of a slipstream. He's closing that gap in. He's only 1/10 quicker than Sebastian that lap. And the tyres will start to be getting rather warm out there. I'm not sure whether they'll last out for the full 40 minutes. It may be needed for a pit stop. This track is quite aggressive on the tyres. It's our very quick corners. It's very tight technical track, yet very fast. Philip Buckland just pitting and coming out lap 9, so just past the halfway point. So he'll have enough fuel to last out. So he's currently in 11th position. Other drivers who have also pit is Damien Cross, who did pit on lap 3. I'm not quite sure whether that was a technical decision to try and top that fuel up enough just to be able to last out the 40 minutes. May have just been enough just to top up. A little bit slippery for Blake again. Getting a tyre out on the grass. This is coming down through Le Mans corner very quickly. He takes that much tighter line around the last corner. Could potentially see some lap traffic starting to come up now that drivers have been heading into the pits. And it is a little bit more of a tricky track to try and do. Troy Mortensen just been in the pits. 44.9 second stop. So looks like he's swapped out some tyres as well as getting fuel. Unless he's put an extensive amount of fuel into the car. There's 17 minutes remaining. Currently on lap 11. And Sebastian just slightly misses that corner. Drops the tyre off. It wasn't enough to register an incident of off track by the looks of it. But definitely lost a bit of pace. Blake's now quickly closing down on him. Try and get this other, the left front suspension. So you can see that car lifting on that curb. This is where Blake's been getting a little bit loose on this exit curb. Very more tidy there. He did drop a wheel off into the grass the lap before. You see him get that turn in much earlier. Okay, there's a lot of speed. Sebastian also then turning off very sharp. Almost trying to break that slipstream down pit straight. It's Matt Serio currently in the pits as well. Robert Babry's been in and pit. He went in on lap 11. So this is his out lap. He's side by side with Russell Gander. Russell Gander gives up that position. Russell has not been in and pit, so it's likely we will see him pit very shortly. I see him carrying a lot more speed coming up along that back straight, and then he would be running very light on fuel. So there's probably only a few more laps, most likely, before these things are going to be getting rather low. And then he comes into the pits now. Not sure who that is. Currently in the pits. It's Aaron Maguire. So he's got the car jacked up. So swapping out tyres potentially. It's quite a lengthy stop. It's currently 30-second stop. Russell again is going to be in and out for Aaron's underway. So he's still going in there. He's just been released. That's a 40.9 second stop. So it may have been a tyre change by the look of it. The car was jacked up. Would be great if we actually did get animations of the changes. Sebastian and Blake both peeling into the pits at the same time. Well, they shouldn't be sharing a bay. Jai also coming in now. Robbie Bradbury is about 54 seconds away. There's going to be a race between these two. See if we can get a good race. Who's going to get away quicker? Blake gets away quicker. Takes the lead down pit lane. Sebastian falls back into position 2. The race lead change done in the pits. Blake only having a 13.1 second pit stop. Sebastian 14.7 seconds. That could have even been just down to a windscreen tear off, or just a slight extra bit of fuel. However, if these guys are going in and really keeping it tight to fuel, that little bit of extra fuel for Sebastian could definitely mean sees him home without having to conserve, where Blake could be the complete opposite. So we won't know until that comes down a little bit further. But Sebastian already starting to pester that tail of Blake. Troy Mortensen showing the blue flag. Moves aside, lets the race leaders through. Troy's currently running in 9th position. Jai having been in and pit. Similar pit stop time to Blake, 13.2 seconds. Stephen Banks been in and pit and moved up into 4th position. Robbie Bradbury's taken some damage, is missing the front there. I might go back and look at that. See what happened for him. Back to Sarah. Oh, he's contacted that wall, trying to avoid car. That's unfortunate for Robbie. It looks like the car was obviously drivable. But unfortunately, we'll see him have to head in and get the car repaired. There are fast repairs available to the drivers. But it is still a lengthy amount of time just for that journey down the pits. Blake's starting to put a bit of a gap between himself and Sebastian at 0.6 now. So we have Damien Cross currently in 5th position, after having got around Robbie Bradbury, who was heavily damaged. We'll see him head into the pits to get that car fixed. Very unfortunate for Robbie. So make our way through the standings. We have Matt Stereo currently in 12th position. Philip Buckland in 11th. Matt Hardigan running in 10th position. Troy Mortensen in 9th. Robbie Bradbury in 8th position. Been in, got that fast repair, so it's 4.5 second stop. But the time added to the lap finish and the next lap start. Very costly. Losing a couple of positions. He was in 5th position. Aaron Maguire in 7th. We have Russell Gander in 6th position. Damien Cross up into 5th. Stephen Banks in 4th. And a fair bit of a gap, 24 seconds separating 3rd and 4th at this stage. Jai holding P3. Sebastian, after having led for 13 laps, got passed by Blake Urquhart in the pits with a 1.6 second quicker pit stop, managing to get away and pull out of the pits ahead of Sebastian, taking that race lead. So he's now led for the last 2 laps. We're now on lap 15. There's just under 8 minutes to go. So it's about 4 more laps and the race will be done. And it looks like at this stage, Sebastian's streak of clean sweeps could be broken. We do have Blake with the fastest lap on lap 2. Blake setting a 1:59.809. That was a very quick lap. A lot of slip in that rear from that early turning, but he carries a lot of speed. And I think Matt Tessera just having to retire out. And the chopper following Sebastian and Blake. So sure what might have gone on. Looks like Matt had to do a toe at some stage. We'll go back so there's a little bit of a break. Doesn't look like we can jump back to him. Go back live. May have even been an actual disconnect too. So we can actually change back over to his car. There's an off-track notice several times on lap 12 for Matt. And then he's now showing as retired. Matt Hardigan currently has a minute between himself and Philip Buckland. Troy has 15 seconds just about between himself and Matt. Damien Cross having just been in and pit again. Pitting on lap 16. Just not sure what that early stop might have been for. Could have very well actually have been in and had a qualifying setup still on the car. He may not have had enough fuel to do. Of course, the racer went in early. A little bit of contact going on with these two. We'll go back and have a look and just see what was going on between tussle of these drivers. Blake spins out in the corner and a slight nudge. And then the two continue on. That could have gone badly for both of them. Almost the nudge straightening up Blake's car. There's a hefty scrape to that front left of Blake's car. Seb running rather wide. There's 3.5 minutes remaining. Can Blake hold off Sebastian? Blake still holds the fastest lap of the race, that 1:59.8. Sebastian's done a 2:01. So we see Blake having to do any fuel conservation in the last couple of laps. Giant coming up to Troy Mortensen. Troy currently in third. Troy's in ninth, so you'll be seeing the blue flag. Stephen Banks still holding in fourth position. Scander in fifth. Aaron Maguire's 1.8 seconds away. Looks like Russell's pulling away pretty quickly. Blake trying to put a gap on Sebastian. Can he hold him off just for a couple more laps? So we'll see the white flag once they cross the line this time around. There's only 1:40 remaining. We're sitting at 1:20 so far for this lap. Sebastian looking for an opening to get through. A little bit slippery by Blake. He's had some slip on this corner before. He's lost all the speed coming out of it. They're going to be side by side coming up along the back straight, but then Blake loves that early turn in. They're going to be fighting side by side all the way through. Both on their preferred lines. Can there almost be a switchback with Sebastian? They're going to be getting side by side coming up the straight. No, he tucks in. Swings out, almost trying to take that racing line. Blake turns in very early. He's going to have to shave a lot of speed off, but Sebastian goes out rather wide. They're going to be side by side for most of this lap. This will be a white flag. There's only 30 seconds remaining. It's on board with Sebastian as he's trying to get this win Side by side again, turns back in. Oh, he's blinking out. He's got some connection issues going on. A little bit of netcode here could definitely end the race for both of them. Look how close he is. He pushes himself a little too hard, goes out wide, loses a lot of speed, but he's recovered that again. He's going to have to try and get him on the back straight. So white flag is up. Sebastian can carry enough speed through the chicane. Oh, going to go for an inside line. It's a risky move. Blake looking to block here. Blake's going to obviously choose the inside line here. He turns in very early. Sebastian's going to get caught on the outside again. Very wide. He's going to have to start turning in. A lot sharper. He's going to be squeezed out. Oh, they both go into a spin at the finish. And look like they'll possibly about equal claim there. It'll be an interesting one to review. Oh, side by side. And then a ram right at the finish line just for a little bit of fun. They were going tooth and nail to the very end of that race. These guys did not have a break from them, so well done. Blake and Sebastian taking first and second, and Jai taking third on the podium. This will be an interesting one just to see if there may have been an at-fault incident at that last corner. Stephen Banks crosses in 4th position. We may even actually... probably won't be able to go back and check. Blake and Seb already gone out, probably looking at the replays themselves already. Ooh, a little bit of traffic there. I think that's... Is that Matt Hardigan? I think he's out of fuel. This could be costly. Oh, he's crawling to the finish line. Someone's going to have to give him a push. And he's going to get a... He's got... I think that's Aaron Maguire giving him a push. Going to push him across the line here. Running out of fuel on the straight, crosses the line. Well done there. Matt Hardigan gets there, courtesy of Aaron Maguire. And Damien Cross, I think, has crossed the line. So that is all drivers now finished. So we'll try to listen, go to the results. So we have conclusion of round 3 for the Pagnian Imports Ferrari 488 Championship. We have Sebastian Vandel showing as crossing the line first. It may be interesting just to see what goes on with the incident at that final corner. And then Blake Urquhart in 2nd position, followed by Jai Schultz, Stephen Banks, Russell Gander, Robbie Bradbury, Aaron Maguire, Damien Cross, Troy Mortensen, Philip Buckland, Matt Hardigan and Matt Tesserio. So we'll see if the guys have remembered to jump over into the podium. Usually they're doing some victory burns, but I think they may be possibly looking at replays at this stage. And we do have Jai and Seb in the channel, so we'll bring them on now. Jai and Seb, congratulations on a good race. A little bit interesting there for you, Sebastian, on that final corner. A bit of contact between you and Blake.
Well, I don't have triple monitors and I couldn't see him, so I didn't know where he was. I thought I left him enough room, but I obviously didn't.
It was very close. And well done, Jai. Held P3 that whole way. couldn't quite close that gap in on Seb and Blake. They weren't giving each other a break out there.
Yeah, no, just once again this week, bloody too quick for me. So, yeah, congrats Seb and congrats Blake.
Yeah, no, great race, and the two pretty much at it for the entirety of the race in those last couple of laps, nearly side by side the entire way, racing right to the checkered flag. So congratulations, Seb.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just feel bad for Blake.
Yeah, still crossing the line at the end, which was quite lucky.
Yeah, well, I took him out of the hairpin accidentally because I thought there was enough room on the inside, and then I tried to avoid him on the grass and clipped him and then regressed position, but yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Good stuff, and looking forward to seeing what he's going to do for next week as well. Should be some more exciting racing coming into the final round when we're at Imola for next week.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
No worries. Congratulations, guys, and we'll see you next week.
See you then.
And we have Jai and Sebastian taking first and third, and then of course the little incident with Blake at the end. So do head over to our Facebook page, so we do post up all our results and standings, as well as all the incident reports, so any penalties, at-fault incidents, so that way you can actually find out what goes on once we steward the replay and see what occurred for that final corner between Sebastian and Blake. So thanks for tuning in. I was glad to be back live again with iRacing. And don't forget, hit that follow button. We will be broadcasting live with Project Cars 2 in the GT4 Championship on Thursday, 7:30 PM. Otherwise, we'll be back again for the final round and to wrap us up with iRacing for 2021. So it'll be a great one to come and see at Imola in the Ferrari 488 Championship. And thanks for tuning in, and see you trackside next time.